So this Filipino TikToker walk-off KOs boxing and UFC champions, a nuclear power of Salt Papi, the new Pacquiao. What? Yo, I've heard of him before, and he actually did some hilarious TikToks. I've actually laughed at it before. Then you guys would mention, yo, he actually got into boxing. He's actually pretty good. He shocked everyone. Watch this video. Here we are together. Let's see this video together. Let's go. Oh my
This
Lord.
TikToker knocked out influencers, boxers, and MMA fighters.
Yeah. I already like him because he's straight up trolling. He's just really being himself, bro. It's like, to the guy, by the way. I'm pretty sure that was like his TikTok thing too. He would do that all the time. Bro was actually like, to the dude, he's like, hey, he's trying to size me up. I'm gonna size you up something way different, man. You looking at him different?
Knocked out influencers, boxers, and MMA fighters.
Yeah, this guy, bro. Damn.
One of the most dangerous knockout artists in boxing today is surprisingly a TikToker. But how does he manage to defeat undefeated fighters and UFC legends like Tony
Filipino
Ferguson?
flair.
Let's
That's crazy.
start from the very beginning. Salt Papi or Nathaniel
They got a music for him? What was that? Salt Papi. Hey, hold on.
Bustamante was born on February 24th, 1994 in Candelaria, Philippines. At the age of 14, his family moved to London, England, where he finished his education while practicing dance as a hobby. Interestingly, his profession back then was the complete opposite of what he's known for today. He was a nurse.
Wow.
He worked in nursing for 5 years before pursuing his career as a content creator and boxer.
And I guarantee you that gave him some sort of experience. Experiencing being a nurse is an incredibly difficult job. So it probably projected him to be much better at the things that he is now. And I guarantee you he'll attest to that probably, right? He'll probably mention that nursing definitely did teach him something. It definitely didn't just teach him nothing, especially considering there's so many incredible Filipino nurses that are the best at what they do, right? So it's already a gene in that sense that they're incredibly good at doing things that are incredibly difficult. But with that being said, it propelled him. I guarantee it propelled him to do everything else that he did, especially with a lot of stuff that probably happened in his childhood.
Tried different roles online, but he found real fame when he started parodying Salt Bae, which earned him the nickname Salt Papi. The name stuck, and the world now knows him by this alias.
That's what he did. This is so funny, bro. And the funny thing is, he didn't just do it. He did it with the hands too. Like he put it in, and while it's falling, low-key genius.
But surprisingly, his second wave of popularity didn't come from boxing. It came from his comedic fake running videos on TikTok.
Yeah, this is so funny.
You heard that right. That was what convinced the organizers of influencer boxing events to give Salt Papi a chance in the ring. He gladly accepted, with his first opponent being Halal Ham. At this point, Salt Papi was really only...
His name is Halal Ham? What is happening, bro? These names that they're coming up with is actually hilarious. I can't.
Hitting bags every now and then casually, and had not really gotten into boxing. Though this was an opportunity nobody would want to miss. Getting to fight on the Wasabi versus Deji undercard was a big deal. Salt Papi took the deal and started training himself to get ready for the big day, but only got an actual coach about 2 weeks before the fight.
And it ain't
when
easy.
Fight night came, what unfolded was nothing short of unexpected. Right before the fight started, some unidentified creature decided to intimidate Salt Papi. And in its opinion, the best way to do that was by performing extremely racist rap.
All you do is run on the spot, but tonight you're about to get boxed and put in your place. Now you're either high as fuck or you're Chinese because your eyeballs look sunk into your face.
That was the worst bars I've ever heard, though. You know what I mean? Like, low-key, the problem with this is, like, if the rap was good, it wouldn't even really be that funny anyways. But if the rap was good, at least that would be something, right? You could at least hold on to something. Like, hey, at least he was flowing. At least he was killing it. And I know this is a cappella, but you can still rap and spit it. Like, there's so many ways that you can do it. Low-key, I just started rapping there. See what I mean? Like, I am a rapper, so I could say this, too, with full confidence. That shit was buns. It was terrible. And I know he's just trying to intimidate him, but that was horrible. At least have good rapping So, and then even if the lyrics are bad, it at least has that, you know what I mean? But it wasn't. It was just overall terrible. It was like straight face, bro.
Or you're Chinese because your eyeballs look sunk into your face.
Oh, brother, get this guy out of
You
here.
might have lost weight, but to me and everyone in
That's
here,
not cool, bro.
Everyone was shocked by this performance. Maybe the opponent thought it would break Nathaniel's spirit
No.
or put him in an uncomfortable position. But it actually motivated him because no one expected what came next.
That was the worst rap
The
I've ever
audience
heard.
expected two heavyweights, inexperienced social media stars to just
Damn.
swing mindlessly.
Yeah, they did it.
But Salt Poppy had something different to him.
Oh,
he looked like he
was he dancing in front of him? Wait, he gave him a little salsa. Look,
But Salt Poppy
Look,
had something
look, he's
different
like, hey,
to him.
whoop.
He looked like he'd been boxing for a while and was surprisingly technical
Yeah, he's
as
very
a
good.
southpaw fighter. Clean combos, perfect
Keep the
counterattacks, and swagger. That night, Salt Poppy shocked the world with his skills and confidence.
By the way, doing that and having that speed that he did at this weight, because obviously this isn't his his full cut. This is him only losing a certain amount of weight. Because I guarantee he was heavier before boxing. He cut a lot of weight. Clearly, he cut a lot of weight, but he's still big. And fighting with that speed that he did is pretty impressive. Very impressive, actually. Because a lot of the time when you're bigger, you have more power than you do speed. He had a combination of both, which is very good. Obviously, I guarantee you if he loses even more weight, he's going to be way faster as well with the power. But it's crazy, bro.
He looked like the biggest superstar in YouTube boxing.
Yeah.
The fight went the distance, but
Look at
Salt
that.
Poppy won the fight by a landslide
Clearly.
through unanimous decision and sparked the start to greatness. Shortly after the Showstar event, Happy Punch Promotion signed Salt Poppy
Wow.
to their roster.
That's awesome.
Which meant bigger and better opportunities. And boy, did it get so much bigger and better. Salt Poppy got on KSI's return card, Misfits 001, against streamer Andy Worski. The press conference itself showed us that Salt Poppy's energy was different. While Andy Worski was talking smack constantly, Poppy thanked God and said his hands will do the talking.
Nah, screw Canada. I'm gonna bend you over, Salt Poppy, and no one will fucking stop me. You understand me? I'm the underdog, bro. You don't even know what you stepped into, bro.
He can talk as much as he wants, but I let my hands do the talking in the room.
I love the Filipino accent. Low key, what's crazy too is like he's very humble in that Filipino manner as well. We can go over here and talk about the legendary Efren Reyes, who is a pool master, has nothing to do with boxing, but in the same sense that in a sport has this humbleness about it. Let his magic do the work. Same with him here. Hey, let me have my fists do the talking. Because at this point, you know what I mean? This is not none of my business. Leave it in God's hands. Because I guarantee you God will take care of me. Ain't no worries. Like, that's the thing.
Although we soon found out, just like Salt Poppy himself, his hands were objects of few words. Just 16 seconds into the fight,
Oh
Salt
my.
Poppy pulled a devastating combination and knocked out Andy Worski. And 14 seconds after that, the fight was waved off and Salt Poppy took the win. This
Yo.
is still the fastest knockout in the history of YouTube boxing.
Really?
And the fact that it happened
Ain't no way he did the fake run right after, bro. I'm done. I'm done, bro. I'm done. There's no way.
the fastest knockout in the history of YouTube
Look at this.
boxing. And the fact that it happened at the first legendary Misfits event just makes everything better. Even if people expected Nathaniel to win, the way he won shocked everybody.
Is that his dad?
Salt Poppy
That's
had a
awesome.
massive improvement due
Yeah.
to him constantly training, and it showed. Suddenly, Salt Poppy was the rising star to look out for with his fast and powerful hands.
He in
After
a gym.
couple of victories,
Whoa.
and such spectacular ones, Salt Poppy became well known not only in Britain, but also back home in the Philippines.
Aw, dude. That makes me so happy, bro. Especially, you know, when you have the Philippines with you, man, you really won. Like, the power the love that they carry, bro. Oh my gosh. It's immense. And I can say that. I can attest to that. You guys are amazing, especially. But as well, I do want to mention him losing this much weight is very difficult. And I know boxing does take out a lot of you, but to keep consistent with his diet and everything else, that is hard. And he's doing so. And it's awesome to see it.
He was even invited as an honorary guest there. It's an incredible story. Starting as a TikToker, moving into boxing, and now becoming a youth icon. Salt Papi showed that truly anything is possible. On paper, his career trajectory sounds insane, but in reality,
That's
worked.
awesome.
Today, he shakes hands with the most important politicians in the Philippines.
Wow.
But Nathaniel didn't stop there, because his entire journey has been about transformation in every possible aspect. After his electrifying performance at Misfits 001, fans eagerly waited till Salt Papi's next appearance. It was then announced his next fight would again be on a KSI undercard.
Wow.
Except this time, it was a whole other beast. His opponent was a professional MMA fighter standing at 6'1", all chiseled and muscular, Josh Bruckner. Going into this fight, people were still rooting for Salt Papi, but his chances seemed slim, because on paper, Josh had every stat going for him. The bell rang, and both fighters immediately looked great in the ring, feeling each other out. Salt Papi, being a counterpuncher, was waiting for Josh to close the distance so he could go to work. Josh soon realized that every time he tried to pursue Papi, he always answered back. Slowly, Nathaniel started breaking Josh mentally, laughing at his punching power. Salt Papi kept taunting Josh, calling him slow, and seemed absolutely unfazed by his
crazy.
shots. Round one made the fight even more exciting, as the outcome could change at any point.
Ooh, he getting phased by it. You can see that. Like, he getting hit and he's trying to stay focused. He's just like, yo, this is it, bro. He knows.
Out of nowhere, 1 minute and 18 seconds into round two, Josh misses his right. Salt Papi had his lead foot on the outside and threw a power left, dropping Josh, who now knew that standing back up would be to no avail. And he was out for the count, giving the Salt Papi the astonishing KO.
There's no way, dog. That's crazy.
Everyone. Yes, there were people that expected Papi to win, but no one expected such a stiff KO. But this shocking performance was good and bad, because many influencers are scared to fight him. The only way to lure them into fighting Salt Papi is his fame. Before getting involved with YouTube boxing, Salt Papi was obviously overweight. He himself talked about that problem. But motivation to break people's faces for money and bounce changed everything. With dedication and commitment, he focused on improving his physique. He changed his diet, consistently hit the gym, and followed a strict workout routine. Over time, Salt Papi's hard work paid off, and he became leaner, stronger, and more muscular.
That's awesome, bro.
Becoming an inspiration to many who aspire to transform their own bodies. In a recent interview on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, Salt Papi revealed that over the last year, he's lost 30 pounds and is continuing to go down. This just proves how dangerous Salt Papi is. He hasn't even reached his optimal weight, and fighters are still hesitant to get in the ring with him. Let's move to 2024. Salt Papi's comeback was against a man who gained notoriety through, well, this.
Oh my. Whoa. He just drive-by'd him, bro. Hold on. You know, this is the stuff that I'm talking about, though. Like, that's the thing I don't like when it happens, because then it's just very unsportsmanship-like. And I know boxing, you're literally just pounding each other in the face at this point. But, like, doing that, that's crazy, man. What?
Through, well, this.
What?
It became clear after that clip
I think
that
he
the
missed.
primary purpose of this opponent was to hype up the fight. Two extremes. The humble Salt Papi versus a man who decided to call himself Ferrari. By the way, Ferrari has been competing in MMA since 2018.
Okay.
With a current
What was that? What was that noise? What?
record of 6 wins since 2018.
What was that? Who threw up in the bathroom?
With a current record of 6 wins and 5 losses. Not exactly impressive, but credit where it's due. He has experience. Behind his outrageous antics lies an equally wild fighting style, where he does whatever it takes to knock out his opponent. A fighter like this should, in theory, be
Why he look
easy
like Drake? He looked like Drake for a second.
keep
What?
at bay with a jab and counter with a powerful straight when they get reckless, occasionally adding a left hook. The real question was whether Salt Papi had learned to use his jab, or was still relying purely on reaction and counterpunching. From the start, Salt Papi used his lead hand in ways most boxers use a jab, to measure distance, throw feints, read his opponent's behavior, and set the rhythm of his punches. His opponent, however, reacted nervously to Papi's every move. Eventually, his nerves got the best of him, and he charged forward to fight the wind. At one point, the Filipino
Why is he
realized
swinging like
he was
that?
dealing with a Neanderthal who had no concept
Yeah, I feel like MMA and boxing can be different. MMA is mixed martial arts. That's what it stands for. And I've done MMA before and a little bit of boxing, mainly jiu-jitsu, especially considering that I'm Brazilian. Like, it's like a very well-known thing. But with that being said, it is way different because boxing, there's a lot more technique, shoulder, like everything, movement, slipping in and out. But MMA, you don't have to focus that much on it because if you're exquisite at closing the distance, getting them on the ground, you don't really need to do much with boxing, right? You still need to learn it because it's mixed martial arts. You don't want to get put down, but not as much as someone else who trains it consistently. You can see that. Look how he's just swinging his arms. And it's funny, he says, as soon as the Filipino fighter realizes he's swinging like a Neanderthal, because this is some just like, what are you doing?
One point,
Look,
the Filipino realized he was dealing with a Neanderthal who had no concept of feints. So, Papi decided to simply press forward, cornering Ferrari. However, Amaterasu Ferrari managed to escape by clinching. Later, Ferrari attempted another sprint into the wind, but this time, Papi was ready. He countered with a precise left straight while stepping back. Yet Ferrari didn't stop,
He's just running at him.
bulldozing forward and pushing Papi to the ropes. Despite the visual audacity, the sequence dealt 0 damage, making the moment even funnier. Then came what could only be described as a cartoonish wind-up from Ferrari, reminiscent of Looney Tunes.
What?
Even the blind in
Okay.
attendance could see it coming. Unsurprisingly, Salt Papi easily ducked under the hook and escaped through the clinch. The Filipino continued to use feints, pretending to jab at Ferrari's head, causing him to raise his guard. Papi followed with a jab to the body. However, Ferrari repeatedly charged forward with a
he just
flurry
runs at
of
him.
wild hooks, managing to drive Papi to the ropes again, but failing to land any significant blows. While Ferrari's comically bad strikes provided entertainment, these bursts of hook barrages also exposed a habit of Salt Papi, his tendency to move straight back. A more skilled opponent could exploit this flaw to great
Go in a
effect.
circle,
At
right?
one point, Amaterasu charged forward again, seemingly attempting Roman Reigns' signature spear. Of course, it dealt no damage. At the end of the day, it's WWE move. But Papi didn't even bother to use a basic sidestep, let alone a pivot. Later in the round, Papi established the rhythm with his...
Well, there is something he still is trying to learn as much, and I guarantee you he's going to take that because if you fight someone who doesn't really know, it's kind of like the concept of like, if someone doesn't know what they're doing, if you don't know what you're doing, no one knows what you're doing, right? So he's basically fighting under the pretense of like, hey, if I'm just doing stuff and I don't even know what I'm doing, then you don't know what I'm doing because I'm just doing random stuff. That's it, right? It's like that funny concept. But there is some truth to it, right? Because he's kind of like unpredictable because you don't even know what he's doing. Like, what is he doing? He's not doing anything proper. He's kind of running at you, trying to rush at you, weird, put his head towards you like that. And obviously a very, 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 very experienced boxer will just take him out, right? Like, first say, like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson will probably lay him out right then and there. That's not to say Salt Papi isn't incredible. But there is still that learning curve of, okay, you got to fight people who don't even know what they're doing. to then also learn how to fight people who really know what they're doing. There's like a mixture of both. There's a balance to it. And you can see though, Salt Papi is learning so fast in so much time, right? And there's so much time. I mean, there's so much time for him to learn, and he's learning so fast in that time. It says a lot. And this is a big learning moment too. You can see that for sure.
Lead hand, tricking Ferrari into mimicking him by twitching his lead hand
And he's
without
adapting.
knowing why.
Yeah.
While Ferrari was busy playing along, Papi landed a heavy right hook to the body. Salt Papi continued his feints, pretending to jab at the head to set up a body shot. However, even Ferrari had caught on to this trick by now and responded with a barrage of hooks to Papi's head. Ironically, it worked. Ferrari himself seemed surprised that he managed to counter Papi. So much so that he dropped to his knees in a moment of gratitude, thanking God for the opportunity. Strange.
What? Yeah, this narration. What? He even dropped to his knees, thanking God in an opportunity. Like he did not. We obviously know he didn't do that, but that's the funny part. It's just like how he fell.
Ferrari himself seemed surprised that he managed to counter Papi. So much so that he dropped to his knees in a moment of gratitude, thanking God for the opportunity.
Oh
Strangely, the referee counted it as a knockdown. Salt Papi started adding variety to his feints in the second round, using not just fake jabs to the head, but also to the body, along with feint-led hooks. His opponent, now visibly more nervous, hesitated to recklessly charge forward like before. At one point, Salt Papi crouched slightly and launched himself with a hook to the head, as though hypnotizing his opponent with the sheer number of feints. Then, in a twist of irony, Salt decided to imitate his opponent's chaotic style by charging forward with punches.
There you go. Well,
the difference, however, was that Papi used his first two strikes as distractions before landing a clean hook to the chin. While he connected well, his opponent, realizing he was trapped against the ropes, desperately scrambled to escape. The result? Both fighters ended up clashing heads during the exchange,
now back
leaving
up.
them with cuts for their troubles. Later in the round, Amaterasu Ferrari charged forward again, this time cleverly leading with his right elbow to block any counterpunch from Papi. The tactic resulted in neither fighter landing anything meaningful, but still ended with another head collision, earning Ferrari another point deduction. By the third round,
he just headbutting him.
Amaterasu Ferrari was completely exhausted. After a failed attempt to catch Salt Papi off guard, he literally spun in circles and seemed more interested in
there's no way you just did this in a ring. What you doing now? He's over here trying to take him down. What?
the
In boxing?
material of Papi's shorts up close.
Yeah, you want us
He
to check the
followed this
material?
up by initiating yet another clinch and attempting to push Papi out of the ring altogether, which earned him yet another point deduction. In essence, Ferrari's entire strategy boiled down to running forward, getting punched in the head, and resorting to illegal tactics when things went south. By the end of the third round, his gas tank had run out, and he decided to quit on his stool before the fourth round began. Salt Papi officially broke his losing streak with a technical knockout victory. Before the fight, I said that neutralizing this Polish bull would be as simple as working behind a jab and throwing powerful counters when he closed the distance. Salt Papi, however, didn't bother with the jab. Still, it wasn't all bad. He showed significant improvement with his lead hand, using it to bait reactions, keep his opponent guessing, and set up feints for his left hook, even without a jab. It was a straightforward fight for the Filipino, who executed his game plan in his own way. This time, he clearly took the bout more seriously, treating it like a chess match rather than a brawl. However, there's always room for improvement, and Salt had plenty to work on while awaiting his next fight. Surprisingly, his return to the ring happened sooner than expected. Not in a Misfits boxing ring, but at the Social Knockout 3 event, where his opponent was Dawood Savage. From the opening seconds, it was clear that Dawood Savage was nervous, and Salt, as an experienced boxer, immediately picked up on it.
He took advantage of it.
Rather than prolong the poor guy's suffering, Papi pressed forward with a high guard, occasionally throwing jabs to wear him down.
This kind of looks like bullying just a little bit because he knows he's kind of smiling too. Look, he's kind of just doing something. He's smiling too. Look, he's like, "Come on, bro, hit." I think he's trying to help him low-key at the same time. There might be more to it. Like he might be like, hey, you know, this could be a training moment. Come on, bro, just hit. You know, it kind of feels a little. I know he's not bullying him. I know, because some of you guys would probably say that, but I mean in the sense that like he's just not taking it that serious because obviously the guy is new or nervous. So
occasionally throwing jabs to wear him down and bait a counterpunch opportunity. It was apparent that opponent's head was a opne target, but Papi, perhaps out of mercy,
out of mercy, he's not hitting him hard. You can see he's even just tapping him.
Was a opne target, but Papi, perhaps.
Yeah, he's not really hitting him like that.
Out of mercy, decided against scrambling the poor man's brain.
Yeah.
Instead, a precise shot to the body dropped him for the first knockdown. After his opponent got back to his feet, Papi stuck to the same strategy. Another shot to the liver resulted in another knockdown. To Dawood Savage's credit, he rose yet again, only to fall the exact same way moments later.
That's like what? The liver, right? If you hit a certain spot here, it drops you no matter what.
Full body shot pinned him to the canvas for good. Perhaps opponent should have listened to his doctors and realized that salt is bad for the liver. For Salt Papi, however, this marked his second knockout victory of the year. Technically, there isn't much to analyze in this fight, given that Dawood Savage's skill level was on par
Yo, the narrator had some problems with that one. Dang, yo.
With Andy Warski, the guy with a Wii Sports stance. However, the difference in Salt Papi's approach was notable.
Don't do that.
Warski,
why is he roasting, yo? Yo, you got the Wii Sports stance.
Papi had mercilessly knocked him out so brutally that even Warski's future grandchildren might inherit the concussion.
His future grandchildren might inherit the concussion. That's okay. Yo, that's actually hilarious. What?
Out so brutally that even Warski's future grandchildren might inherit the concussion.
Yo.
Against Dawood Savage, Papi clearly understood the disparity in skill and calmly dismantled his opponent with minimal damage, ensuring the man didn't lose any more brain cells than necessary. This speaks volumes. Salt Papi has grown more confident, not just in appearance, but also in his mindset. By the end of the year, he aimed to raise the level of competition for his next fight, eager to prove that his progress wasn't just a fluke. Salt Papi's next opponent was former Misfits champion King Kenny, known for his long reach and strong jab. This fight was a title eliminator to determine the #1 contender for the middleweight belt. From the first exchange, it was evident that the Filipino had taken this fight seriously and studied his opponent's style. Kenny loves to throw a long jab while stepping in, but this often leaves his chin exposed. In this instance, he also closed the distance too much, allowing Papi to land an immediate counter. Kenny tried to clinch to slow Salt Papi down.
He kind of blocked it.
But that strategy would have only worked against the version of Papi from a year ago. The new Salt Papi quickly escaped the clinch and retaliated with a few strikes of his own. Shortly after, Kenny lazily stepped in with another long jab, his head high and his hands low, and ate a powerful straight punch to the face. Later in the fight, Kenny threw a strange, sluggish straight to the body that Papi countered with a strong combination. Fighters often resort to such desperate single shots to the body when they're frustrated, and this seemed no different. Salt Papi tried to throw a light jab to distract Kenny, but Kenny responded with a good block that protected both his head and his body. Papi's follow-up, straight to the body, landed on the block instead. In the clinch, Kenny was surprisingly active, clearly planning to use the clinch as a key element of his strategy. Papi stepped back, but got caught with a jab as Kenny pursued him. Expecting a counter straight, Kenny stepped in deep with a low duck, hoping to push Papi further toward the ropes. But instead, Papi landed a punishing body hook that forced Kenny to abandon his plan and back off. Kenny's approach appeared designed to create moments of rest whenever Papi hurt him, such as by clinching or retreating after absorbing a hard shot. In the third round, Papi used
kind of just threw him. They also do that a lot. They kind of just throw towards the end of the fight or anything like that. Not even towards the end, but the end of the round or anything like that. They kind of just throw you just, I guess, maybe like do something. I don't know. They keep doing that, bro.
Guy's a left hook, prompting Kenny to raise his guard high. However, Kenny's defense focused on protecting the sides of his head while leaving the center open as if serving his face to Papi on a silver platter. Papi throws a feint for a hook to set up a straight punch, which makes sense. But unexpectedly, Kenny counters the Filipino with a jab. King Kenny outsmarted Salt Papi, and it was likely at this moment that Salt decided to stick to the original game plan without any showboating. I'll explain the initial fight plan a bit later. Moments later, Papi baited Kenny into relaxing by playing passive. Kenny dropped his hands slightly and began throwing sloppy straight punches, leaving his chin exposed. Salt Papi capitalized immediately, landing a massive punch to the jaw that shut down all of Kenny's motor functions. Despite the intriguing matchup, there's not much to praise about this fight, and that's entirely Kenny's fault. He fought as if he wanted to be knocked out. While on the defensive, Kenny showed decent fundamentals. He maintained good distance and kept his head protected. However, Papi clearly knew Kenny preferred a defensive style, so he worked even more passively, retreating to the ropes to coax Kenny into attacking. When Kenny went on the offensive, things fell apart. His selection of combinations was questionable, and even when throwing—
That's another thing, is like, it is kind of like a chess match. There is a lot of like baiting for this. You analyze their fighting style, how they like to fight, what they prefer, and then you do that, you go through all that, and then you can see exactly where you can take advantage of certain things. And Salt Papi especially, he took advantage of it. Maybe he analyzed, for sure he analyzed, but then what he did is he adapted whilst in the ring as well, which is actually really dope to see. But I mean, bro, that Filipino spirit, man, got that Manny Pacquiao in him. Just adapt to a situation. Manny Pacquiao did the same thing. A lot of adaptations.
Single punches, he'd crouch awkwardly and lift his chin, leaving it completely unprotected. It was as if he was begging Papi to land a clean shot and knock him out. Salt Papi's entire strategy revolved around creating fake opportunities for Kenny, to luring him into lowering his guard. One such moment sealed the fight, with Papi delivering a definitive knockout. But now Salt Papi is about to face the biggest challenge of his career, a fight against MMA legend and former UFC champion Tony Ferguson. Yo, you know what's crazy though, is like a lot of these kinds of things are just, I feel, a scary moment there, but once you're in the ring, there's a lot of adrenaline. Look here, right? There is like these moments right after where he's very, very chill. I mean, that's obviously when adrenaline dies down, but you notice, bro, like, there's so much that goes into it technically that I actually, like, I find enjoyment in it, in the sense that there is technicality, but boxing overall is a very scary sport. I would prefer not to do it because, like, you know, I just don't want that. Even though I've done it before, I used to do boxing. I used to take all that. I used to do it all. I was actually pretty decent. I've gotten a few KOs and all that, but other than that, I don't like the idea of what could happen future-wise, but to each their own, right? And a Filipino legend in the making. Salt Papi, I'm rooting for you, bro. Just like I rooted for Manny Pacquiao. Absolute legend. With that being said, love this video. This was a dope video. Thank you guys for linking it over. Love you guys. How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end.